Good evening everyone, and a big hello to those who are going to join me and watch this video and catch up. It's been a while. Yep, it's been a while. And I hope everyone's well and healthy, which is the name of the game. So yeah, I've been fairly quiet on here. I've been focusing on a few things, and I've always said that unless I'm 100% tuned in myself, I won't make videos and stuff for this channel. I've got to be 100%, so I've been working towards that, and at times, past few months, I've kind of gone left and right a little, and yeah, you've got to find the energy to get back on track and realign the focus and get back in tune with yourself. So that's what I've been doing, been concentrating on that. Been doing some hill walking and getting up a bit of elevation, getting up some height, out of my comfort zone where I like to be. It's important to get out of your comfort zone. We can all be guilty of sitting around in it too long and wrapping ourselves up in cotton wool, and you become stagnant, and you become stiff, you become stuck in the mud almost. That's the best way to describe that, stuck in the mud. And you know the feeling when you're stodgy, when you're stiff, when your bones are aching, when, you know, running up a flight of stairs makes you tired. You know that you've been doing something wrong, or you haven't been doing enough. You've not been testing yourself. So that's where I'm at. Trying to kind of keep on top of my diet, which isn't always easy when you're on the move and, you know, up and down mountains and stuff like that, and just generally kind of sometimes you just guilty of grabbing stuff on the go. And always try and eat some fruit through the day. Avoid the fizzy stuff. The coffee and me go hand in hand. It's never going anywhere. I can't not have the coffee. That's my vice. But apart from that, feeling healthy, feeling fairly focused, feeling strong, working on my shoulder, getting my shoulder back to, trying to get it back to somewhere near where it used to be. I don't think it'll ever be fully right, but you still have to work on it and, you know, find ways to adapt your movement and stuff. I've had a few surgeries on it. For people that don't know, I had sepsis. I had a bit of my deltoid removed with infection, and it caused me an awful lot of grief. And it's something that I'm probably going to have to just live with. But yeah, such is life. So yeah, there you go. That's that. So I'm hoping that everyone out there's good. I've had a few people message me and stuff, ask me where I am. Just strangers off the page, and that's totally fine as well. I just did a wee bit of training there with my mate, so that was good to catch up. And yeah, we'll take it for there, see how we got on. But that was our first kind of time seeing each other for a long time, so we did a wee bit of basic pad work. You know, he's obviously very focused on his own thing, which is various martial arts, mixed martial arts and stuff. I was just wanting to do a little bit of pad work to see how this felt. Between that and my hands and stuff, you know, a few old injuries, and age gets on and they start to kind of, you know, give you trouble. They start to remind you of your past exploits, shall we say. So I'd said the other day there that I was going to do a kind of catch-up video on last year's chat about my own beliefs with the links in men with low testosterone, bad bloods, and the direct links to low self-esteem, depression, and ultimately in some extreme cases, and far too many cases, suicide in young men, and men my age, men in their 40s. and it's one of the biggest killers of guys our ages. And it's it's truly epidemic proportions, and it's not getting addressed anywhere of note. It seems to be sidelined all the time against something else, something that's maybe that generates monetary gain or some type of profit for organisations. And this low self-esteem in men and depression in men is something very close to my heart, and it's something I truly believe in. And I think that the levels of funding begrudgingly thrown at it are disgusting. It's completely underfunded, it's completely misunderstood. It is often poorly portrayed in the press and in social media and the mainstream media and in journals and medical publications. It's the facts and figures seem to be fairly skew-whiffed all over the place, and I don't think you have to be an expert in anything to understand there's a real problem, and the problem's getting worse and worse. It's not getting any better. I'm regularly contacted by strangers who are looking for help. They're reaching out. They're reaching out to me. I'm not an expert. I'm not trained in anything like that, and I just understand it's a gigantic problem. It's a black hole that's not getting filled by anyone and anything. It's just there constantly, every other day. It's what you read about if you are in certain groups, or you're ex-military, or you were involved in anything, any big organisation, with large numbers of people. You will know someone, you will have been affected by this. It will affect your life in one way or another. It's like cancer. It's just affecting everybody. Everybody knows someone that's struggling, and they know someone where suicides, landed at that family's door, and it's absolutely horrendous. And it is fixable and it is avoidable. But one of the videos I shared last year, which got an awful lot of traction and an awful lot of people engaged with it, a lot of guys in the athletic world, boxers in particular, were engaging with it. A lot of guys have dabbled in performance enhancing drugs. There's no taboo with them at all, right? It's a load of rubbish written about them over the years in regards to, the apparent dangers and stuff, and you hear the term roid rage and stuff. You hear a lot of misconceptions with these things. There's a place for everything apparently, and I imagine that to be right. I do think there is a place for these things in high level sport. However, when the amateur weightlifter or the amateur athlete dabbles in them without any real knowledge, basically just listening to the local gym guru, that's probably where I do have a bit of an issue nowadays. Whereas when we were young guys at 20 and 21 in gyms, people were talking about it, and you would, by your own curiosity, you would say, well, what is it? I want to try it, and if it makes me stronger, or if it, you're suffering vanity at that age, you want bigger muscles, so you maybe take some Deca or some Sustanin or Winstrol or one of the old school ones, and it was so commonly spoke about that it appeared to be normal. You would get some tablets, or you would get a couple of injections once a week in your bum, and guys would be doing it in the locker rooms, and you'd see these guys doing it that were 28 or 32 or 40, and you'd think, well, they look good, they look the way I want to look. And we now understand that these things can be achieved with proper training and proper eating regimes, and I would advise anyone, any young guy, not to dabble in them, unless they were a high level paid functioning athlete that really required help getting over injuries and all the rest of it. Yeah, there's an absolute place for things, but not just dabbling for the sake of vanity. Absolutely not. And 25 years ago, we fell into the trap of listening to the gym guru are looking at the guy that looked the part, and he'd be saying, oh, you just need to take this for a month cycle, and we never had a clue, and no one did have a clue, and millions of young guys have dabbled in steroids. Again, there's no taboo. It's, you know, it's completely, nothing's off limits we talking about these days. With me, in my opinion, we have to talk about it. If we keep blanking it and kidding on it didn't happen, we're only fooling ourselves. So when young guys ask now, my answer's no, don't bother with it. Train properly, eat properly, you know, try and cut out the bevy and the other stuff and focus on your training. That's what's important now. The reason being is we now know through listening to people who really understand the science behind performance enhancing drugs, steroids and various other, you know, injectable supplementation, is that it does put you out of sync, it does put you out of balance, and it does stop your body producing certain things, one of them being testosterone. And when you kick your body out of its natural cycle, even if you've only dabbled with 3 or 4 months or 6 months or on and off for a year and then never went near them again, I could bet a pound to a penny that that's affected you later in life and you just don't know it yet. You probably haven't realised about blood work. Now, there's some private companies doing incredible blood work for guys, and I urge all guys to get their blood work done. If you can spend money at the weekend in bevy and drugs and grams of cocaine and all the crap, if you can do that, if you've got 300 quid trainers on, if you've got a 500 quid shirt, if you're, you know, like that, way inclined, and then you can afford to spend some money on yourself. So investing in a shirt and a pair of denims and a jacket and a watch and boots to make you look good, why not invest in your health as well as looking good? Get your bloods done. The reason I mention the private companies is because the NHS do not want the burden of it. And at this moment in time, with everything that's going on with the apparent pandemic, you're not going to get near a doctor or a hospital for blood work. Unless you're dying, they're going to say, no, this can wait, it's not important. It's absolutely important. It's critical that you are the best version of yourself. And so many of us are walking around feeling okay, apparently fine, thinking we're all right, think we're healthy. I go to the gym 3 times a week, I eat okay, I drink at the weekend, I'm fine. But if you get the experts to check your bloods, they'll instantly know what's going on with you, and they'll be saying, well, actually, you know, your testosterone levels are shot to bits. You're nowhere near what a guy at 35 or 45 should be producing. We know that the decline happens around 40, but you've upset your cycle. So if you've got it in your head that, well, I took something years ago, or I did this, or I've dabbled on and off in it, and I've took a little bit of test myself, and I've tried to redress the balance myself, I can guarantee you that you're not getting it right. A guy in a gym telling you, oh, you're 14 stone, mate, you know, 1 mil on a Monday, 1 mil on a Thursday, and you'll be bang on. You'll be firing all 4 cylinders again. That's absolute nonsense. You have to get this done correct. There's so much more science to it. And these private companies now, you know, for a few £100, you can get your blood work done by professionals qualified to actually give you a printout of what's going on with your body. It's a fantastic investment. It's an amazing investment. Why? Because it's you investing in yourself. No one else is going to do it. Your GP and your doctors are going to fob you off. They don't want the burden. Every man should be entitled to this treatment, to go and have your bloods checked the minute you hit 40. Your testosterone goes off the precipice, it goes over the cliff edge and it plummets. You start to feel low self-esteem. You can't work out why. Perhaps you're suffering from, you know, you're not functioning correctly. You can't perform correctly. You can't you can't hold your, like, an erection, for instance. Your bloods just aren't right. And you're looking down at yourself in the shower and you're going, it's been a while since I woke up this morning, in the morning, you know, with a bit of the old kind of standing to attention, you know, morning glory. And you start to go, well, wait a minute, when did I used to wake up every morning like that, or, you know, because it just happens when you're relaxed in your bed or whenever, and all of a sudden it's not working, and you're saying, well, wait a minute, and maybe you slept with somebody or your partner and they noticed it, and then the pressure's on you even more, and you're starting to go, well, why is this not working? And then you put yourself under even more pressure, when actually your body's telling you there's something no wrong, but you've turned into something psychological and you think it's you. Your bloods could be miles out, your testosterone could be miles out. Like your numbers could be way down in the ones and the twos, the zeros. So going private gives you rapid access to the beginning of correcting things. It's not an overnight simple fix, but it's important that you do it. It's important that us guys feel good about ourselves, because there's times in my life where I felt shit and no one helped me and no one was there. No one picked me up. No one was there to say, Alex, this could be it. Right, I had to work it all out for myself. So by getting rid of the negative out of my life and getting rid of the averages out of my life and surrounding myself with the right things and following the right people, I've put myself in the right track, because I know who I want to listen to. I know what I follow, and I know what people stimulate me. You know, speakers, former athletes, retired, whatever, you know, people that stimulate my brain, that make me intrigued by them, and I say, well, I'm interested in what he's saying. What he's saying resonates with me. There's something about this, you know, and I spoke before about a bodybuilder, a former Mr. Olympia in the 90s, Dorian Yates, about his talk about his own journey with steroids and how it affected him greatly. But these guys were taking, you know, quite potent amounts and stuff. However, even in the smallest amounts, it can affect you 20 years down the line. So the link's massive. Why they continually skirt around these things, I don't understand. I am an advocate for guys to feel well. I want guys that I know round about me to feel the best of themselves, to get the best version of themselves through fitness, through diet, through succeeding in life, through being surrounded by good people. And it's not rocket science to achieve that. If there's something repeatedly dragging you down and negative elements in your life, or the average person that you're hanging around with is just rubbing off on you, and their lifestyle is hectic, all over the place, drama, it's going to rub off on you. You're going to become an average of what you surround yourself by. I've said it many times. It's so important to get it right. At times in our lives, we all got it wrong. We have our pals. We have our pals for a reason. You know, that we had things in common. But whatever you're involved in, if it's making you a person that you don't like, or if it's getting you involved in stuff that you really truly don't want to be doing, you have to step away from it. And you can only do that by basically addressing it yourself and finding the strength, and basically looking in the mirror and saying, I don't like this guy that's staring back at me. Don't know you, don't recognise you. So that's the first part of the journey. But you know, and with a link to low self-esteem from testosterone and bad bloods, you know, I'm not a medical practitioner. I read a lot. I don't watch television. I don't watch any of that. I don't have a television. I read material. I read about health. I read about the body. And there's a million experts, and probably a lot of them are maybe not experts. They claim to be. I know what works for me. I know who works for me. I know what I like, and I'm starting to find out things about my body. I'm starting to realise that really I shouldn't have been eating this, and I've cut down the dairy and I've cut down certain things because it does bloat me, and I don't function the best when I'm on it. And then I realise that when I'm doing a routine for a few weeks and I'm firing in all four cylinders, I realise what does work for me. So I have to investigate that thoroughly, and you know, I have to look further into what was I doing there that was right, that felt so good. I've got to really explore those avenues, because you know, we're all different, and there is no set diet for every single person in the room. That's just nonsense, and what works for one doesn't work for another. So guys, I think if you can invest in yourself, I think it's money that you'll never regret spending. You may go to a private bloods clinic and they might say, you're in great shape. And you'll go, oh, I've just wasted 200 or 300 quid to get told that I'm fine anyway. At least then you'll know. If you're spending it on yourself, then it's never money wasted, is it? So don't be a tight arse when it comes to your own health and your own mindfulness and your own brain function. Get the answers that you're looking for. I'm not an expert, and a lot of the motivational speakers are not experts. They're just people that want to help. And if I can make a couple of guys feel better by saying this and by you viewing this video, right? This video doesn't, none of what I do, it's not monetized. It doesn't gain me anything. I just want to try and put it out there to you that there's some things you can do that you might not know you can do, i.e. private blood clinics. Instead of going to a GP and saying, I don't feel well, and they hand you a box of sertraline or citalopram or, you know, something stronger again, right? Before we go down that road, leave that out. Get everything else ticked off first. I've got no idea why the GPs are not saying to guys my age, you feel suicidal, you feel terrible, you feel this, you feel that, right? Okay, and when you don't drink, you don't take drugs. Right? So maybe you've got low self-esteem. Maybe your testosterone's wrong, because it's testosterone in balanced quantities that make you manly, that make us men, that make us who we are, right? That's what makes us the same as estrogen makes a female, and that's all about function. It's all part. We're all part of the same machine, from our feet to our head. You know, if you've got a bad hip, you're going to compensate on this side, and it's all part of the same machine. All of a sudden, this hip starts hurting, then that shoulder, then your lower back goes, and it's all because you've got a problem here that maybe you weren't aware of. So everything has to function. There's luckily people out there that are always forward moving, they're always forward thinking, and they bring so much more to the table. Private medicine, private clinics, and these people are so determined to bring health to you. And yeah, you might have to pay for their services, but so what? If you can invest in yourself to the tune of £1,000 watch and all the rest of it, you can invest in your own health and get your bloods checked and get some things verified for yourself for peace of mind here. It's super important. It's absolutely critical that you do this, guys. This video is really aimed at the guys tonight, because we still all suffer the taboos. You know, you're not allowed to have a bad day. You can't be seen to be weak. A load of crap. Some of the strongest men I know have had some issues that they've had to deal with head on. And when you don't deal with them, that's when the problems occur. And that's when it moves to the next level. And that's when we get to the absolute tragedies and the numbers and the suicides and all the horrible things that we need to talk about. Let's not let it get to that, gents. Let's deal with it now. And if we can tick some things off the list, then why not have a little investment in yourself? Go and get your bloods checked if you're 35 or over. Go and get some, if you have had a history of training and bodybuilding or whatever you did in life, or a rugby player, maybe you took some stuff way back. You know, maybe it's came back to haunt you. So if something I'm saying, you know, if it triggers something in your head and you think, maybe Alex is onto something there, I'm onto it because I've had to get onto it. I've had to find out what's going on with myself and on behalf of other people. And I'm not shy to ask questions. I don't get embarrassed about any of this. There's no taboo with me. I don't care, because if it helps one, it was a job worth doing. And that's why we do these things. So hit me up, message me if you're stuck. I'll put you onto a couple of private clinics. There's some great people doing work, Glasgow, the North England. There's some amazing people out there, and maybe, just maybe, it will answer some questions for you. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling depressed, low self-esteem, low energy, lack of, you know, spring in your steps, you know, if you're not functioning correctly, if you just don't feel as good as you used to feel, don't put it down to age, don't put it down to, you know, this, that and the next thing. Look within yourself and say, well, maybe I'm not firing properly on all 4 cylinders, and there's something that can be done to fix it. It's really important that we are at our best. We've got a short life. Our only job in life is to look after the body that we have. If you're abusing yourself every week with alcohol and drugs and doing the same thing every week, takeaway food, processed food, you're not going to function correctly. You're going to be a shadow of who you could really be. Would it not be nice in life for at least once in your life to be at your full potential and say, wow, I never knew I could achieve this. I'm absolutely unstoppable when I feel like this. Do you just want to go through your life being an average version of yourself? If you do, that's fine as well. It's not for me personally. I want to know I'm fit enough so that my kids know I tried to maintain myself for them on their behalf, you know, and didn't write myself off because I hit 40 or I hit 50 and I'm an old man now, I'm going to start acting like one. Bullshit. I want to be running around the block at 60, right? That's what I want to be doing. So there you go, guys, alright? So hit me up, any questions, and we'll talk about it further. I'm going to do a little second part to this as well, probably tomorrow night. We're a little bit more in-depth about the clinics and about what to expect and stuff, alright? This is just a kind of precursor to that. So thanks for listening, and I'm going to go on my hoofs and go a good walk here. And okie doke. So hit me up, any questions, don't be scared to ask. Take care and stay healthy. Thank you for listening. Good night.